Hello everyone, I am Muhammad Munir, teaching assistant at Faculty of Commerce English section, Cairo University. Today we are going to discuss Chapter 18, Spoilage, Rework, and Scrap. Learning objectives of the chapter. Number 1, defining spoilage, rework, and scrap. Number 2, identifying two types of spoilage. Number 3, spoilage in process costing using weighted average and first in, first out. Spoilage are units of production, either fully or partially completed, that do not meet the specifications required by customers for good units and that are sold for reduced prices. Rework are units of production that do not meet the specifications required by customers but which are subsequently repaired and sold as good finished goods. Scrap are residual material that results from manufacturing a product. Scrap has low total sales value compared with the total sales value of the product. Accounting for spoilage. Accounting for spoilage aims to determine the magnitude of spoilage costs and to distinguish between costs of normal and abnormal spoilage. To manage, control, and reduce spoilage costs, they should be highlighted, not simply folded into production costs. Now let's see the two types of spoilage. First, normal spoilage is spoilage inherent in a particular production process that arises under efficient operating conditions. Management determines the normal spoilage rate. Costs of normal spoilage are typically included as a component of the costs of good units manufactured, because good units cannot be made without also making some units that are spoiled. The second type, abnormal spoilage, is a spoilage that is not inherent in a particular production process and would not arise under normal operating conditions. Abnormal spoilage is considered avoidable and controllable. Units of abnormal spoilage are calculated and recorded in the loss from abnormal spoilage account, which appears as a separate line item on the income statement. Inspection points and spoilage. An inspection point is a stage of the production process at which products are examined to determine whether they are acceptable or unacceptable units. Spoilage is typically assumed to occur at the stage of completion where inspection takes place. The 5-step procedures for process costing with spoilage. Step 1. Summarize the flow of physical units of output, identifying both normal and abnormal spoilage. Step 2. Compute output in terms of equivalent units. Spoiled units are included in the computation of output units. Step 3. Compute cost per equivalent unit. Step 4. Summarize total costs to account for. And finally, step 5. Assign total costs to number 1. Units completed. Number 2. Spoiled units. Number 3. Units in ending work in process. Now, let's start solving problems. We will start by solving problem number 1831. Weighted average method. The seafood company is a food processing firm based in Maine. It operates under the weighted average method of process costing and has two departments, cleaning and packaging. For the cleaning department, conversion costs are added evenly during the process, and direct materials are added at the beginning of the process. Spoiled units are detected upon inspection at the end of the process and are disposed of at zero net disposal value. All completed work is transferred to the packaging department. Summary data for May are as follows. The seafood company cleaning department, physical units, direct materials, conversion costs, work in process beginning, 3,600 units, with a cost for direct materials 5,316 and costs for conversion costs with the amount of 1,953. Degree of completion of beginning work in process under direct materials is 100%, but for conversion is only 60%. Units started during May, 30,000 units. Good units completed and transferred out during May, 24,600. Work in process ending, 5,040. Degree of completion of ending work in process is 100% for direct materials and only 30% for conversion. Total costs added during May is 55,500 for direct materials and 44,659 for conversion costs. Normal spoilage as a percentage of good units is 10%. Degree of completion of normal spoilage and degree of completion of abnormal spoilage is 100%. For the cleaning department, summarize total costs to account for and assign those costs to units completed and transferred out, including normal spoilage, and to abnormal spoilage, and to units in ending work in process. Let's see how to solve this problem. First, we need to calculate step 1 physical units. So we start with work in process beginning, and it was given by the amount of 3,600 units. Then we add started during current period, and it was also given with the amount of 30,000 units. So number of units to account for is the sum of 3,600 plus 30,000, which equals to 33,600 units. Good units completed and transferred out during current period is 24,600, and it was given, and since they are completed units, so they took 100% direct materials and 100% for conversion costs. Normal spoilage is 10% of good units transferred out. So 10% multiply 24,600 units, which equals to 2,460 units. So number of units under normal spoilage is 2,460 units. And for direct materials, it's 100%, and conversion cost also 100%. Then to calculate abnormal spoilage, we calculate it as follows. First, we need to calculate total spoilage. Total spoilage is 3,600 plus 30,000, which is the total number of units to account for, minus 24,600, which is number of good units completed, minus 5,040, which equals to 3,960 units. 5,040 is the number of units still work in process ending, so the 3,960 is the total spoilage units. And here we calculated part of it, which was normal spoilage 2,460. So to calculate abnormal spoilage, we deduct 2,460 from 3,960, which equals to 1,500 units under abnormal spoilage. Abnormal spoilage is also 100% for direct material and 100% for conversion costs. Work in process ending was given the amount of 5,040 units, and it is 100% for direct materials but only 30% for conversion cost. So equivalent units of work done to date, we calculate the summation of number of units under direct materials, which equals to 33,600 units, and summation of number of units under conversion cost, which equals to 30,072 units, and this is the equivalent units of work done to date, and this is step number 2. Step number 3, we need to calculate total costs to account for. We start with work in process beginning, and it was given with the amount of 5,316 for direct material and 1,953 for conversion costs. Then we add costs added in the current period, and it was also given with the amount of 55,500 for direct materials and 44,659 for conversion costs. Then we add work in process beginning plus costs added under direct materials, which equals to 60,816, and for conversion costs we add 1,953 plus 44,659, which equals to 46,612, and these are total costs to account for direct materials and conversion costs. For step number 4, we need to calculate cost per equivalent units. So we start with costs incurred to date, which was previously calculated, 60,816, divided by equivalent units of work done to date. Under direct materials, number of equivalent units was 33,600, so 60,816 divided 33,600 will equals to 1.81 as cost per equivalent unit for direct materials. Same for conversion cost. Total cost 46,612 divided by 30,072 units, which equals to $1.55 for conversion cost as a cost per equivalent unit. Final step, step number 5, assignment of costs. We need to assign costs to, first, good units completed and transferred out. Number 2, for normal spoilage. Number 3, for abnormal spoilage. And number 4, for work in process ending. So to assign costs to good units completed and transferred out, number of these units was 24,600 units. So costs before adding normal spoilage will equal to 24,600 units multiplied by 1.81 for direct materials and 24,600 multiplied by 1.55 for conversion cost. Then we add cost of direct materials and conversion cost, which equals to 82,656. Then for normal spoilage, number of these units 2,460 units multiplied by direct material cost per equivalent units, which equals to 1.81 plus 2,460 units multiplied by 1.55, total will equal to 8,266. Summation of these two numbers will equals to total costs of goods units completed and transferred out after adding to them normal spoilage, which will give us the amount of 90,922. Then we need to calculate or assign costs to abnormal spoilage. Number of abnormal spoilage units was 1,500 units. Multiply 1.81 plus 1,500 units multiply 1.55, which equals to 5,040. This is the assignment of cost to abnormal spoilage. Work in process ending 5,040 units multiplied by 1.81 for direct materials, but only 1,512 units under conversion costs multiplied by 1.55, total will equals to 11,466, and summation of all costs must equal 107,428. This is the total costs accounted for, which must be equal to total costs to account for that we started with before assignment of costs and before calculating cost per equivalent unit. Now let's solve problem 1833. Weighted average method, but here for packaging department, the second department for the same factory or the same company. In the seafood company's packaging department, conversion costs are added evenly during the process and direct materials are added at the end of the process. Spoiled units are detected upon inspection at the end of the process and are disposed of at zero net disposal value. All completed work is transferred to the next department. The transferred in costs for May equal the total cost of good units completed and transferred out in May from the cleaning department, which were calculated in problem 1831 using weighted average method of process costing. Summary data for May are as follows. Here we are talking about second department in the same company, which is packaging department. And the problem said that the transfer in costs for May equals total cost of good units completed and transferred out in May from the cleaning department. So here costs, transfer in costs for the packaging department is the transferred out costs from the cleaning department, and also units started during May in the packaging department must equal to finished goods or completed units transferred out from the cleaning department. Let's see how to solve this problem. Work in process beginning 12,600 with transferred in costs 33,656 698, and direct materials 0, conversion costs 23,475. Degree of completion of beginning work in process 100% for transfer in cost, 0% for direct material, and 70% for conversion cost. Units started during May, we will calculate it, or we can say it is given from the previous problem as units transferred out from cleaning department. Good units completed and transferred out during May 26,400. Work in process ending 8,400 units. Degree of completion of ending work in process 100% for transferred in, 0% for direct material, and 40% for conversion cost. Total costs added during May 5,760 for direct material and 40,845 for conversion costs. Normal spoilage as a percentage of good units 8%. Degree of completion of normal and abnormal spoilage is 100%. For the packaging department, use the weighted average method to summarize the total costs to account for and assign those costs to units completed and transferred out, including normal spoilage, to abnormal spoilage, and to units in ending work in process. First, step number 1, calculation of physical units. We start with work in process beginning, and it was given by the amount of 12,600. Units started during current period 24,600, which are units completed and transferred out from the cleaning department. Total units to account for is 37,200 units. Good units completed and transferred out during current period is given with the amount of 26,400 units. Normal spoilage. Normal spoilage is 8% of good units transferred out. 8% multiplied 26,400 units equal 2,112 units. And they are 100% for transferred in cost, direct material, and conversion cost. Abnormal spoilage, as calculated before, we calculate it as 12,600 units, which was work in process beginning, plus 24,600 units started, minus 26,400 units completed, minus 8,400 work in process ending, which equals to 2,400 units. To calculate only the abnormal spoilage, we deduct 2,112 from 2,400, which equals to 288 units abnormal spoilage, and it is also 100% for transfer in, for direct material, and for conversion cost. Work in process ending was given 8,400 units, 100% for transferred in costs, 0% for direct material, as direct materials is added at the end of the process, and only 40% for conversion costs. And now we add number of units under transfer in cost and under direct material and under conversion cost to get equivalent units. Under transferred in 37,200, under direct materials 28,800, and finally under conversion 32,160. Step 3, calculation of total costs to account for. We start with work in process beginning. Work in process beginning costs were given 33,698. Direct material 0, conversion cost 23,475. Then we add costs added in the current period. As we said before, transferred in costs here is the transferred out costs of completed units from the previous department, cleaning department, and these costs was 90,922. Then direct material costs 5,760 and conversion cost 40,845. Total costs to account for are as follows: 124,620 transferred in cost, 5,760 direct material, 64,320 conversion costs. Step 4. Calculation cost per equivalent unit. We divide costs of transferred in cost divided by 37,200 units under transfer in, which equals to $3.35 per equivalent units for transfer in costs. For direct material, we divided 5,760 divided by 28,800, which equals to 0.2 cost per equivalent units for direct material. And finally, cost per equivalent unit for conversion cost will equal to 64,320 divided 32,160, which equals to $2. Final step, step 5, assignment of costs. We need to assign costs for good units completed and transferred out, and for normal spoilage, for abnormal spoilage, and for work in process ending. Good units completed and transferred out, 26,400 units, multiplied by the summation of all costs, 3.35 plus 0.2 plus $2, multiply 26,400, which equals to 146,520. Then we need to add normal spoilage costs. Total number of normal spoilage units, 2,112 units, multiplied by summation of all costs, 3.35 plus 0.2 plus $2, which equals to 11,722. Now we can reach total costs of good units completed and transferred out, which equals to 158,242. Then we need to assign costs to abnormal spoilage. Total number of units, abnormal spoilage 288 units, multiplied by summation of the three costs, 3.35 plus 0.2 plus $2, which equals to $1,598. Finally, work in process ending, 8,400 units. First multiply 3.35 for transfer in costs, 0 for direct materials, as we said before, because direct materials are added at the end of the process, and conversion costs only for 3,360 units multiplied by 2, which equals to 34,860. Summation of all costs equals to 194,700. This is the total costs accounted for, which equals total cost to account for 194,700. Now let's solve problem 1832 using first in, first out method. Refer to information in problem 1831. Do problem 1831 using first in, first out method of process costing. Same given. For the cleaning department, summarize total costs to account for and assign those costs to units completed, transferred out, to normal spoilage, abnormal spoilage, and units in ending work in process. Work in process beginning, 3,600 units. Units started during May, 30,000 units. Good units completed and transferred out, 24,600. Work in process ending, 5,040 units. Normal spoilage as a percentage of good units is 10%. Degree of completion of normal and abnormal spoilage 100%. First, physical units. Step 1. Work in process beginning, given 3,600 units. Started during current period, given 30,000 units. So total number of units to account for 33,600. Good units completed and transferred out during current period. First, we need to know number of units completed from beginning work in process. From work in process beginning, they are all completed. So from beginning work in process, 3,600 units. Degree of completion for direct materials as given was 100% and for conversion costs was 60%. So now we need to complete these units. As they had before 100% in direct materials, so now we add 0 because 100% minus 100% equals 0 for direct materials. But for conversion costs, they only had 60%, so we need to complete the 100%. So 3,600 multiplied by 100 minus 60%, which equals to 3,600 multiplied by 40% equals 1,440 units. Units started and completed can be calculated as 24,600 is the number of physical units completed and transferred out, minus 3,600 units from work in process beginning will equals to 21,000 units, number of units started and completed in this period, and they took 100% for direct materials and 100% for conversion costs. Normal spoilage is 10% of good units transferred out, so 10% multiplied by 24,600 will equals to 2,460 units, and they are 100% for direct materials and 100% for conversion costs. To calculate abnormal spoilage, first we calculate total spoilage, 3,600 units plus 30,000 units minus 24,600 minus 5,040 units equals to 3,960 units, total number of spoilage units. To calculate abnormal spoilage, we deduct 2,460 from 3,960, which equals to 1,500 units abnormal spoilage. For work in process ending, it was given as 5,040 units, 100% for direct materials as it is added at the beginning of the period, but only 30% for conversion costs. Now we can calculate equivalent units for work done in current period by adding number of units under direct materials, which equals to 30,000 units, and number of equivalent units of work done under conversion costs under adding number of units will equals to 27,912. Step 3. Total costs to account for. Here under first in first out method, we only write the work in process beginning costs, but we do not add it to costs added in the current period in order to calculate cost per equivalent unit. So, to calculate cost per equivalent units, first we calculate total cost to account for by adding work in process beginning plus costs added in the current period, 5,316 plus 55,500, which equals to 60,816. This is the total cost to account for under direct materials. 1,953 plus 44,659, which equals to 46,612. Total cost to account for under conversion cost. But in step 4, to calculate cost per equivalent units, we only divide costs added in the current period divided by equivalent units of work done in current period. So here we do not take number of total costs to account for, but we take costs added in the current period, which is 55,500, divided by number of equivalent units of work done for direct materials, which is 30,000 units, which equals to $1.85 for direct materials cost per equivalent unit. For conversion cost, costs added during current period, 44,659 divided by equivalent units of work done under conversion costs, 27,912, which equals to $1.6 cost per equivalent unit for conversion cost. Step 5, assignment of costs. First, we need to assign costs for good units completed and transferred out. These are 24,600 units, divided into units from work in process beginning and to costs added to beginning work in process and to started and completed units before normal spoilage, and finally to normal spoilage unit. First, work in process beginning costs. It was given by 5,316 and 1,953. Costs added to beginning work in process in current period, 0 for direct materials, 0 units for direct materials, and 1,440 units multiplied by 1.6 for conversion costs. So 7,269 plus 2,304 equals to total from beginning inventory before normal spoilage with the amount of 9,573. Started and completed before normal spoilage, 21,000 units multiplied by 1.85 under direct materials and multiplied by $1.6 under conversion cost, which equals to 72,450. Now we need to assign costs to normal spoilage, 2,460 units, also multiplied by 1.85 plus 1.6, which equals to 8,487, with the amount of total cost of good units completed and transferred out, 90,510. Now we need to assign costs to abnormal spoilage, 1,500 units, multiply 1.85 plus 1.6, which equals 5,175 costs for abnormal spoilage. Finally, work in process ending, 5,040 units, multiply 1.85 for direct materials plus only 1,512 units, multiply 1.6 for conversion cost, with a total amount 11,743. Total of these costs will equal total costs accounted for, 107,428, which must be equal to 107,428 total costs to account for. Now let's solve the final problem in this section. FIFO method, but in the second department, in the packaging department. Refer to information in problem 1833, except that transferred in costs of beginning work in process on May 1 are 33,090 instead of 33,698. This number. Transfer in costs for May equal total costs of good units completed and transferred out in May from cleaning department as calculated in problem 1832 using FIFO method. For the packaging department, use FIFO method to summarize total costs to account for and assign those costs to units completed and transferred out, including normal spoilage, abnormal spoilage, and units in ending work in process. Work in process beginning, given 12,600 units. Units started during current period, 24,600. Total number of units to account for is 37,200 units. Good units completed and transferred out during current period, first from work in process beginning. For transfer in cost, 0, as 100% minus 100% equals to 0. For direct materials is 100%, as direct materials here are added at the end of the process, so they are all added at the end of the process. For conversion costs, only 100% minus 70% means that for only 30% from these units will have conversion costs. Started and completed units, 13,800 units, calculated as 26,400 physical units completed and transferred out, minus 12,600 physical units completed and transferred out from beginning work in process inventory. So started and completed units are 13,800 units. 100% for transfer in, direct material, and conversion cost. Normal spoilage is 8% of good units transferred out, so 8% multiplied by 26,400, which equals to 2,112 units. Degree of completion of normal spoilage, 100% transfer in, 100% direct material, and 100% conversion costs. Abnormal spoilage, calculated as first we need to calculate total spoilage, 12,600 plus 24,600 minus total number of good units, 26,400 minus work in process ending, 8,400, which equals to 2,400 units. To calculate abnormal spoilage, we deduct 2,112 units from 2,400 units, which equals to 288 units. Degree of completion 100% transfer in, 100% direct materials, and 100% conversion costs. Work in process ending 8,400 units, 100% for transfer in, 0% for direct materials, as direct materials are added at the end of the process, and only 40% completion percentage for ending work in process. And step 2, number of equivalent units under transferred in costs, 24,600 units, under direct materials, 28,800 units, Under conversion cost, 23,340 units. Step 3. We need to calculate total cost to account for given work in process beginning costs, and it was also given costs added in the current period. We add two costs to reach total cost to account for. Step 4, we need to calculate cost per equivalent units. So we divide only costs added in the current period divided by number of equivalent units previously calculated, which equals to $3.679 for transfer in cost, 0.2 for direct material, and $1.75 for conversion cost. Assignment of costs. First, for good units completed and transferred out. First, from work in process beginning, costs 33,090 plus 0 plus 23,475. Then we add costs added to beginning work in process in current period by multiplying 0, multiply cost per equivalent unit of transfer in cost, 12,600 units multiply 0.2, 3,780 multiply 1.75. Then total from beginning inventory before normal spoilage will equal to 65,700. Started and completed before normal spoilage 13,800. Multiply summation of costs per equivalent units for transfer in direct material and conversion costs, which equals to 77,680. Normal spoilage 2,112 units multiply summation of costs per equivalent units, which equals to 11,888. Total costs of good units completed and transferred out 155,268. Then we need to assign costs to abnormal spoilage 288 units multiply total costs per equivalent units, which equals to 1,621. Work in process ending 8,400 units multiply 3.679 for transfer in cost and 0 units as direct materials added at the end of the process, and only 3,360 multiply 1.75 for conversion costs, with total amount 36,784. Summation of all costs will equal to 193,673, which must equal to 193,680 total costs to account for. And by that we reach end of our section today.